Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Velvet Rope Live. We've got everything for you: TV, movies, fashion, and some incredible in-studio guests. Here's a sneak peek. On this episode of Behind the Velvet Rope Live, we chat with Dr. Strange himself, Benedict Cumberbatch, about Marvel's latest blockbuster. We celebrate Halloween with Winifred Sanderson, aka the one and only Bette Midler, and her celebrity friends. Lena Dunham and Jenny Connor discuss the last season of HBO's Girls. Victoria's Secret angels Jasmine Tukes and Josephine Skriver share some tips about getting into shape as they prepare for this year's Victoria's Secret fashion show. And we get the scoop about Katie Holmes' directorial debut, All We Had. All that and more on Behind the Velvet Rope Live. I told you guys we had a loaded show, so let's jump right into it. And we're going to get a little strange in the process because one of the best actors of a generation, Benedict Cumberbatch, is bringing Marvel's Doctor Strange to the big screen this weekend. I am so excited. I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I can tell you I've seen the movie. It's absolutely incredible. I'm also super excited because I got to chat with Doctor Strange himself at the New York premiere. Here's what Benedict told me. Joining the Marvel Universe, I would find myself becoming a big kid overnight.
Yeah, you do.
Did you find that happening?
Exactly, and that moment, I mean, yeah, if I'd literally take you through step by step when your first question, in about a week we would have got to the moment which I'll tell you about now, which is when I first put on the cloak, and it was extraordinary. That was the real, because like I said, we've been working on script and fights and all the other periphery of it, and I kind of lost sight of the fact I was playing a superhero, and then that first costume fitting, I just sort of put it on for the first time and was giggling. And our wonderful costume designer, Alex Byrne, who's done a few of these films brilliantly, she just folded her arms and went, yeah, I've seen that look before. That's you're having a superhero moment. Yeah, I completely am. And it's kind of, you feel giddy. And the second time was in Manhattan, actually, here, just running down Fifth Avenue with the Empire State Building in the same eye line, just about to take off, and yet another moment where Mads was chasing me, which seems to happen in a lot of the film. And just thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this in New York, the home of many a superhero, and I'm getting to play one as a Londoner myself. I was really thrilled. And the final one was at the LA premiere, where I was watching him, by the end of this film, become a fully fledged superhero and now a Marvel Avenger. And he earns it by the end of the film. And it's kind of amazing to be sitting in your own audience going, wow, I'm playing an Avenger.
Is there anything cooler than seeing as great an actor as Benedict Cumberbatch geek out like a little kid, just like I would, about playing a superhero? I guess that's what happens when you get cast into a Marvel movie. Like I said, guys, incredible movie. Opening in theaters tomorrow and Friday. If you have a chance this weekend, go check out Doctor Strange. Speaking of being a little kid, nothing reduces people to being a little kid more than Halloween, and that was this week. The hottest party in New York for Halloween is always Bette Midler's Halloween party. I mean, she played one of the great characters of all time in Hocus Pocus. Well, guess what she dressed up for this year? As Winifred Sanderson, and I caught up with her and all of her celebrity friends at her Halloween party. Check out what they told me. I love that you came as Hocus Pocus this year, Bette.
Winnie Sanderson. Winnie Sanderson.
Does this mean there's a sequel in the works? Is this a hint?
No, this is just a costume. Thank you.
I love the work you do with the New York Restoration Project.
I talked to you about it. It's nothing. It's like a few bucks a month. It's a fantastic organization. We take care of so many gardens, so many parks, so many people, so many kids. We educate 25,000 kids a year. I mean, we do great work.
You have such a busy couple.
NYRP.org.
That's a plug right there. You've got such a couple busy couple months ahead. I cannot wait to see you on The Voice. Talk to me about that experience. Why did you join?
I had a great time. Why did I do it? I did it because they invited me, and because I had something to offer. They were very kind, loveliest group of people I ever met, and in television. And Blake was fantastic. I just had a ball.
What makes Bette Midler Bette Midler?
Bette Midler, she's been Bette Midler better than anyone's been Bette Midler since the beginning, you know, from way back. And I was talking to Norma Kamali the other day at the summit, and she was telling me about how she made outfits for Bette like way back, like early 70s, late 60s. And, you know, from when I was a kid and I first saw or heard of Bette performing at the Baths and all this kind of stuff, I was just riveted. She was everything that I thought like fashion should be, that talent is, that like audacity and in your face, like cool, funny, clever, buxom, beautiful, bodacious, fabulous, you know.
I am a living Snapchat. And the funny thing is I think I only have like tens of followers, but I just thought, I don't want to just do a filter. I want to do a really complicated filter. And when I heard that Bette was coming as her Hocus Pocus character, I said, we're up in the ante. That is it. I'm going full bore. This has taken hours. Hours. And if I could have done prosthetics, I would. I loved it.
Speaking of Bette, you're here to help her support what a project, the New York Restoration Project.
Yeah.
How great is this with the work they're doing?
Well, the great thing about NYRP is that this year they have actually met their goal of planting 1 million trees here in the New York area. So there are so many projects that we do for the environment, for the future, for the kids, whatever you want to call it. But trees are so important. I mean, constantly. And frankly, trees don't get the kind of love that they deserve. So tonight we're giving them the love because everywhere you plant a tree, only a good thing happens.
So guys, I think I have to say that Marc Jacobs wins all Halloweens from this point forward with his outfit. I mean, could you believe that was even him? I was on the red carpet. I'm like, when's Marc Jacobs coming? And meanwhile, the guy was standing right next to me in that outfit. I'm like, Marc Jacobs, you are the man. And by the way, make sure to support Bette Midler's New York Restoration Project. As you heard what Kathy was saying, they're doing incredible work in greenifying New York, and it's an incredible organization. I also want to take a quick minute and give a big shout out. We're on Periscope right now, and we're being featured because of all of you guys watching us. Big shout out and a big thank you for getting us featured. We're so happy to bring the show to you guys, so keep watching. And I'm going to give you a big reason why you need to keep watching. This is just a hilarious actress. Her name is Lynn Cohen. You probably know her from Sex and the City. She was Magda. I totally forgot that when I saw the bio. She's been in the Hunger Games. She's done Munich. And now she's sitting next to me. Her career might be going down, actually, after saying that. Lynn, I'm just joking. I'm so happy to have you.
You're joking.
It's like winning an Oscar being next to me.
I know. Well, listen, there's nothing better in life than to follow Benedict Cumberbatch and Bette Midler. What do you do after that? I don't know.
I slotted you perfectly,
You
right?
certainly did. I'll never forgive you, but it's okay. It's okay.
You got a new movie out. Congratulations. It looks adorable. Tell me all about it.
Well, it's about a pickle.
I know.
That's it.
That's
the,
it.
The beginning and the end.
You talk to a pickle the
I
whole
know.
time.
No, it has to do with my pickle recipe and a couple of crazy people who tried to get my pickle recipe to make it a big commercial, send it to a big commercial pickle place. And I just love saying pickle. Don't you like saying pickle?
Who doesn't like their pickle?
Pickle.
That went over your
Yeah,
head,
right
didn't
there. No, that's it. I'm not terribly smart, You have to watch me. I look smart and I talk smart, but I'm really good. You see this? My grandmother used to do this. I don't know why. She took a little piece of Kleenex with her everywhere. And anyway, I was streamed my grandmother when I did this because my grandmother came from the Ukraine. This woman I'm playing came from Poland. And she comes to this country as an immigrant and works like a dog, and she and her husband have this pickle that is dynamite in Detroit. It's a true story. And she has a son that's like not doing anything he should do, and a grandson that's even worse. And in the process of the film, she teaches them how to be people and to step up to the plate. And they want to steal the pickle recipe. It's sort of like an action film, sort of like the Hunger Games, except they're hungry for pickles.
It's the Hunger Games of pickles.
About pickles, yes. There seems to be a little motif going all the way through my career. It has to do with pickles. No, I know.
You've had such a great career.
I have.
You and I were joking before we got started. When you look back on this, what are your thoughts? Has it been what you wanted? Has it fulfilled everything you were hoping for?
Is anything to be what you wanted? Everybody, I wanted to be Laurence Olivier, and I'm still waiting for it to happen to me. You put one foot in front of the other, and like I say, nothing means anything. You can work with Spielberg, you can work with Louis Malle, you can work with... It doesn't, it's like every morning you get up and you're starting all over. And it's kind of wonderful. And it's never boring. And they always ask me to do, I won't take my clothes off or anything. That's a no-no. But everything else I've done, I've climbed up mountains, I've worn wetsuits, I've found little things in drawers and things like that. It's just, it's a blessing.
It's funny you mentioned the clothes coming off. Because we were going to ask you to do that. No, I'm kidding.
That wasn't in my contract. Okay, I'm
That
listening.
was part of the appearance contract. Mila Kunis just wrote a big commentary, and it talked about how when she was younger, a producer was going to force her to do an ad half naked for, I think, Men's Fitness, and she refused. And the producer said to her, "You're never going to work in this town again." And it's essentially a commentary on sexism in Hollywood.
Yes, of course.
As someone who's just had a long career in this business, have you ever experienced anything like that? Has it been something you've seen firsthand?
Never with me. I'm a very strong woman, as you might gather. There are things I've been asked to do, and I'll say no thank you. Thank you, no thank you.
Even if it would progress your career, even if you knew that it would take you to unforeseen levels?
No. I've had great, strong people. I'm married to a perfect man. I love very much. I really am such a blessed person. I've been very lucky in that I've been able to do the kind of work I want to do. And I work with people who respect me, and I say, no, thank you, that's not for me. And then it's not a matter of taking my clothes off. Sometimes it has to do with the quality of the work or the quality of the people you're working with. And I've been very fortunate in that I've worked with wonderful people. And what more can you ask? And you wake up in the morning and you work, my God. I'm 105 years old. I don't look it, I know.
You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous
But
for...
that's why I came. Now, I may come
knew
back.
you were getting yourself back.
I've been waiting for
I
it.
told you, you've got a co-host role waiting for you. With your sense of humor,
I
you
know.
might replace me with you. That's a problem. I gotta
don't
keep a little bit of
think
distance.
so. Although I'm as tall as you are, it's I don't see it in my future. But if they're looking for someone, with a piece of Kleenex in their hand, they got a babe.
How was Spielberg? You got to work with him on
Oh,
Munich. What was
he
he like?
is amazing. You can imagine. I don't know if I have time for a quick story.
Please.
Yeah, all right.
The floor is yours.
Okay. I was doing Golda Meir, so they had to give me a fat suit and a fat nose and like a caca all over it. And they weren't calling it caca, but it's all right. So, and I'm in LA, and I've got this on it, and then the AD, assistant director, comes and says, okay, we'll go see Stephen. And I say, Stephen who? And they say, Spielberg. I said, but no, look at me, I'm in a big fat suit. And he said, no, that's the idea. So we go to his cottage, and we're walking up the stairs, and the first thing I see is a sled. And I said, oh my God, is that Rosebud, which is from Citizen Kane?
Right.
They said, yes, of course it's Rosebud. This is Steven Spielberg's place. Are you out of your mind? So we go up, and they're holding a press conference, and it was the time when Tom Cruise jumped on.
The couch
yeah,
jumper scene,
okay. But he came out, and he was wearing cutoffs, and he couldn't have been more wonderful. And we talked about our backgrounds and our grandparents, all like Golda Meir reviewed her troops carrying her handbag, but she never let her handbag go. And so in the middle of it, his assistant comes out, and he says, Stephen, the press is here, and so is TC. And he said, oh, I got to go talk to them. And I thought he said E.T. What? But of course it was Tom Cruise, and who was in War of the Worlds at the time. And in any case, he's amazing on the set. At one point, he asked the cameraman get off the thing, and shot it himself. I can't tell you what a wonderful human being he is. He's a real human being, and he loves making films. So, and I worked with Louis Malle and Woody Allen. I mean, I've been very blessed. Very blessed. And now I'm with you, for God's sake. Suddenly, there's God so quickly. No.
This is the ultimate for you. I'm telling you, it's like winning the Oscar. I'm going to give you a hug. You're awesome.
This is why I came.
Oh, you're amazing.
This is how I get hugs from
Everybody
good
make
guys.
sure to check out this lady's film, The Pickle Recipe. It's in theaters tomorrow, and you're amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much for joining us,
It was a
Lynn.
joy to be here.
The feeling is mutual.
Good deal.
You're amazing.
Okay.
I love her.
Thank you.
Like I said, check out her movie, The Pickle Recipe. If nothing else, she's amazing. The movie's going to be great, and she's just awesome. More awesome women on the way because I had the opportunity to chat with two of the coolest ladies in this business right now. Lena Dunham and Jenny Connor have just crushed it with girls. It was their coming out party. They've become the voice of a generation. And sadly for me, because I'm an enormous fan of the show, it is coming up on its last season. Unsadly for me, I got to catch up with both of them, and they gave me the scoop about that and the incredible project they've been working on, Lenny Letter. Here's what they said. 6 seasons doesn't happen for everybody. Walk me through what
we feel
this.
really lucky that we got to do it.
We feel lucky we got to do it, and we feel lucky that we got to choose the time when it was right for it to be over, and it was right for the characters, and it was right for us, and it's really rare.
When Seinfeld ended, him saying, like, you gotta get out when the getting's good, and I really feel like we did that.
I know you can't give any spoilers, but I want you to walk me through what it's been like filming this final season for both of you.
Bittersweet, I would say. It's been, there have been moments that are just like, we got to get through this, let's do this, like any other show, and then there are the moments where we stop and look at each other and say, I can't believe this is, the last, well, it's girls, so this is the last sex scene we're doing, or something.
Yeah,
Those are our landmarks.
The last time that we're going to have, Shoshana lying in her bed eating, whatever it is. And it's really emotional, but we've also been really excited. We have our newsletter, Lenny Letter, and we're doing a lot of projects around that. And so we have so much to look forward to, but there was also so much we wanted to hold on to.
That actually brings me to Lenny Letter, because what I think you guys have done with that is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
On so many levels, it's an extension of the voice that you created on Girls. What have been some of the incredible responses you've gotten from the stuff that you've done with Lenny Letter?
Well, the thing about that I really love when it happens with us with Lenny is when we break a story and it goes so far and the ripple effect goes so wide that it's not even credited to Lenny Letter. Like, all of a sudden there was just the biggest conversation in Hollywood about wage equality after Jennifer Lawrence wrote her article about Lenny Letter, and it was so huge that no one was even talking about Lenny Letter, and I was like, okay, we've made it. Like, now we're just like creating, zeitgeist. So that felt really great.
That's something we really love. And just when we get personal responses from women that an article allowed them to, we've gotten everything from this allowed me to come out to my parents, to this allowed me to figure out why I was sick, to this allowed me to talk about my mental health. Like, those are the moments we really treasure.
I love those two. They really have become the voice of a generation, not only for women, but for men as well. And I cannot wait for the final season of Girls. I also cannot state enough, go check out the work they're doing with Lenny Letter. In fact, they just had Kobe Smulders write in about her battle with ovarian cancer. I thought it was just remarkable. So check it out, and we'll see you soon. Season 6 of Girls is on its way. We're going to stay with some amazing women because I had the opportunity to chat with two of Victoria's Secret's most popular angels. Everyone is always wondering, they see these angels walk in the fashion show, how do they look so perfect? How they stay in this incredible shape? Well, I caught up with Jasmine Tukes and Josephine Skriver, and I asked them that question. I also asked them what some of their most important body parts are, and they had some great answers. Check it out. What is your favorite part of being a Victoria's Secret angel, each one of you?
So many. It's just so many good things.
It's just like such a dream come true. I don't think there's anything bad I can say about it.
One of my favorite things is that we've developed like a sisterhood. Victoria's Secret did such a good job with choosing a group of girls that get along so well, and we actually are like best friends. We go to dinners together, we have game nights together, and it's really fun for us.
We solve problems. If there's a guy issue, if there's even like an emergency, where do I get my best massage? What do I do with my hair? Anything. You have like 14 girls in speed dial.
Is it a tough balance when you're going between muscle and still staying lean? Because as a man, our job is like, let's go get muscles on our body. But as a woman, it's got to be such a different dynamic, right?
Yeah, well, we do like she said, weight training where we really like to build our muscles. But then the next day maybe go to a bar class where that's a lot more lean and exercises that make you have lean muscles. So if you switch it up, I think you'll never really get that bulkiness like a guy has.
Obviously, it's different for everybody, but I think in general, it's a general myth that if you lift twice, a girl is going to be bulky. It takes a lot for bulking up as a female, and I think if even lifting for us a lot, like none of us is super like, and we lift
also,
almost
if you
every
stretch,
day.
It elongates the muscle.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, girl, you we just tone up, and I feel like strong and sexy.
What's the most important body part to work on?
My butt. That's my most important body part.
I agree. It's my favorite day, but I do like tone arms too. It's becoming my new favorite because they are almost always out.
Yes.
But there's nothing about that can beat the butt, really.
Nothing.
Yep, it's one of those mornings where you just have to pinch yourself and say, yes, I am the luckiest guy on earth. Everybody make sure to tune in to the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show December 5th, 10 p.m., CBS. Can't wait. Those two are going to be in it. Also, we're going to be continuing this little series with Victoria's Secret Angels every single week and getting out their workout tips and working out with them. It's called Training with the Angels, so stay tuned. We'll be having it in future episodes as well. One of the big stories of the week, guys, well, at least in the film world, was the 20th anniversary of Romeo and Juliet. Of course, that was a launching ground for a little-known actor named Leonardo DiCaprio and a little-known actress named Claire Danes. Just kidding, obviously, they've two of the biggest A-list stars on the planet. The man who created that film was named Baz Luhrmann, and I caught up with him. He's one of my favorite directors, by the way. Caught up with him this week and talked all about the 20th anniversary.
Like today's Romeo and Juliet's 20th anniversary.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. I mean, I couldn't have predicted the reaction today. It's everywhere. And, you know, I find myself making these things. I think to myself they should get made. But if there were two of me, having fun would be doing Doctor Strange or something really. They're so cool. I mean, they're brilliant. They're brilliant parallel universe films.
20 years later with Romeo and Juliet, did you
Exactly.
ever imagine that Leo and Claire would become two of the biggest stars on the planet? At that point, did you have any idea?
Well, I kind of thought they might go far. I really thought, actually, because I searched so broad. I was always, Leonardo was number one, but being with Leonardo, you just realize how gifted he was. And Claire, she was so young. And you knew you were with the next generation of actors. How far they would go, probably not, but you knew they were major talents.
All right, guys, that's a perfect segue to our next in-studio guests. Two of my friends and two of people I love. I have Sadé, Spence, variety contributor, and Jack Rico, editor-in-chief of ShowBizCafe.com. Hey, guys.
Hey. Hey, Arthur.
Let's go drink. Forget the show.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
We're going to talk about real stuff, but forget it. We're out of here. All right, guys, so you heard of everything Baz Luhrmann was just saying.
Yeah.
Leo, Claire, 20 years later, they're two of the biggest stars on the planet. Who's the next Leo and Claire? I want to hear from you guys.
I don't know about you guys, but I think any of the kids from Stranger Things could definitely do it. I think they're so talented.
Good one. That's a good one.
Millie Bobby Brown, just, you know, all the emotions
Star.
she could convey without even speaking.
She's the next Audrey Hepburn, in my
She for
opinion.
sure has got it.
Like, you can see it that early on.
Oh,
like, I
yeah.
think she's good, but, like, sometimes, not to say this is Millie Bobby Brown, but, like, sometimes they can derail. I mean, you know, they could become, you know, obsolete, like the kid from Jerry Maguire. You never see him again. I mean,
Right.
but
I mean,
hopefully not.
We don't know how far we can project. I think even Baz said, you know, he didn't know how far they could go, but Claire and Leo did. So I have faith in any of those kids.
She's got a good one. How about you, Jack?
I have some out of the box thinking type of.
Of course you do.
Some obscure.
Right. No, I mean not so much obscure, but we're talking about probably the hottest guy right now, actor in Hollywood, is Alden Ehrenreich.
Yep.
He's the new Han Solo.
Yep.
He did Hail Caesar with some of the best celebrities on the planet, George Clooney included. And now he's in Rules Don't Apply with Warren Beatty. It's the Howard Hughes
We were
film.
just at a lunch I saw.
I
by
was
the way.
just there.
So jealous. Go check out Jack's Instagram, by the way, because it
Warren
was like,
Beatty.
oh, I'm right next to Warren Beatty.
80 years old.
Plug your social.
Yeah, he's
the coolest.
80 years old, yet he looks like he's 60, 50 years old, and he looks like he hasn't aged and still has that creative, astute wit about him. But I think Alden Ehrenreich is being poised to be the next Hollywood A-list star. And then there's a woman by the name of Ana de Armas. She's a Cuban girl who was in Hands of Stone. Gorgeous, beautiful, and now she's going to be in the new Blade Runner film. So when you put those two people that are coming up and who the next Leonardo and Claire Danes is, I think these are two people that you should put in the conversation.
We're going to put this video on archive.
Yeah, in a time capsule.
20 years from now, we're going to be sitting here. I'm going to have like my cane and my walker. I'm like, Jack, you were right.
I want to meet here in 20 years.
Listen, I'm still here. If I'm alive in 20 years, I'm going to be happy. With my lifestyle, I think my kidneys are just shot. We're going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. The big story of the week, Anthony Weiner, guys. I mean, this guy, he's bringing down a presidency right now. I mean, what's going on? Like, how crazy is this, right?
I don't even know. Hasn't it been going on for like, what, 6?
I feel like it's been
6,
gone way
7
too
years?
long. Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't he have been there a long time ago? He should have been going to rehab, I feel like, a long time ago.
Like, what's going on for Huma's head right now? Like, she's like, man, he screwed me every possible way imaginable, and now his laptop is screwing me?
Well, maybe screw isn't the appropriate word. But definitely what we're looking at is there's this implosion that's occurring around Wiener, and anybody that is within his circle is feeling the heat on him right now. Poor Huma. This needs to be a Lifetime movie at some point. I mean, the documentary is getting a lot of buzz, by the way, as one of the most intriguing documentaries of the year. I mean, we could see it as, you know, an entry in the documentary awards come award season. I mean, that's how good this crazy sort of sequence and twisted, demented sort of like spin that his life has taken, that's now affecting the presidential election, because recently the FBI and James Comey just found the part of the 33,000 emails were, some of them were in his personal desktop. It's nuts.
If you get on like the A train and you see Wiener in your car, like, do you just get off? Like, is the aura of Wiener just gonna like ruin your life? Like, does a bomb go off, God forbid? Like, I think if I saw him anywhere in my vicinity, I'd be like, I gotta get off this train right now.
Yeah, because the bad luck around him right now is just something you don't want to be around.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You have a podcast, my friends.
Yes.
Let's give Jack a good plug here. He's got a podcast, and then we're going to talk about podcasting. Give him the plug of the podcast. I'll be on next week, by the way.
Yes, it's highly relevant. Arthur Cade's going to be on next week. We're going to be talking about pop culture, but it's a bilingual, bicultural pop culture podcast that talks about films, television, journalism, media, and sort of where we are in that place right now in the world. You know, there's so much going on. How do we figure it out? And some great conversations are happening on my podcast.
The reason I just plugged that podcast is because I just read an article that Oscar Isaac, Catherine Keener, and David Schwimmer are starting a podcast.
Yes.
And I'm like thinking, holy cow, you've got essentially three of the best actors in Hollywood who are now podcasting. Like, why are people podcasting at that stature and level? Like, why?
For me, I just feel like it's just, you know, another challenge for the acting world. I mean, it's kind of like when people go into animation, it's only your voice. You have to convey everything, you know, an emotion, what kind of place you're in, state you're in with just your voice. So I think it could be just another challenge for them, and why not? I would be in a podcast.
I think this is one of the most terrible ideas.
Career ending.
Well, I wouldn't say career ending yet, but I think that celebrities who are at the level of Oscar Isaac doing Star Wars films should have nothing to do with the podcast world. Let me explain why. Podcasting is a very personal experience. It's something that is very immersive. You have to love it. This can't be like, oh, let me squeeze in a half hour to kind of just talk into a microphone really quick and then walk away and kind of do my scene. It doesn't work like that. Podcasting is about, you prepare for the whole week about what to talk about. You got to be well read on these things. You got to be sort of almost like a Renaissance person talking about a particular subject matter. And I feel like these people are doing it sort of as a creative outlet amongst the many things that they do. But, you know, if Oscar tells you, hey, yeah, I paint on the weekends, that's what this podcasting is. It's something they're doing, you know, like on their leisure time that they don't really.
I want to have as much passion about something in my life as you just had about podcasting.
I know.
He's like, Pat, he went into like Broadway mode here.
It's more like, Oscar Isaac, don't step on my turf. I own
And by the way,
podcasting.
it's not necessarily Oscar Isaac, but Lena Dunham has one. There's a lot of people that do not dedicate the amount of time to create a podcast the proper way. And what they're doing is they're having phone conversations on their phone, and then that's not podcasting.
I gotta disagree, man. I like it. These actors are so controlled. They're so protected. We never see the real person beyond the brand. And the fact that they can get on and actually share their personalities, although it might hurt their career, I kind of dig it.
That is true, but I think there's too much of that protection going on. The judgment, how is this going to affect my brand? Is my sponsor, like Clinique, are they going to drop me if I say something wrong? So that's why I don't think they should be doing this. There's too much spin going on for them to be truly, truly stripped down of their guard in order to give some sort of uncensored thing. Like Lena Dunham and Odell Beckham Jr., they had on a blog that she wrote, it wasn't on a podcast, but a blog she wrote, a lot of controversy because of what had happened that night at the Met Gala between both of them and her assumption that he didn't supposedly like her. If this wasn't a podcast and she was talking like that, that would be great, but that's not what she's doing. She's leaving that for more for blogs and everything. That's why I think that reality, the uncensored sort of stripped down version, that's what we need from these celebrities on these podcasts, and I don't think we're necessarily getting them.
One person who does not really care about protecting his brands, I mean, clearly after the Nightline interview this week was Lil Wayne.
Oh, wow.
And I want to, you're a big music person, Sadé. I want to ask your opinion because here's a guy, a role model to millions, and he comes out and he goes, I don't care about Black Lives Matter. I'm young, I'm rich, I'm black, like, I don't care. What are your thoughts on all this?
I think there are so many parts that are wrong with it. I mean, first of all, you know, the reason you're famous in the first place is because these people support you, or you have this audience that listens to your music and, you know, is part of that lifestyle sometimes, and, you know, they support you. So that's the reason you're there in the first place. But I think even if you strip, you know, your music career aside, you're black. Also, and I mean, the premise behind it is that there are people dying. There are people dying. And you totally disassociate yourself from it, like it doesn't matter to you at all. And he actually came out and said, oh, I apologize, and I was disgruntled because of what, you know, the reporter had asked earlier about his daughter.
But he doubled down on it. This was
Yeah.
the second time.
And
He came to play on
But
this
that's what I
one.
think is funny, is that even the fact that you're disgruntled about what she said about your daughter prior to that, it's like, but this is still about you and your daughter and a whole group of people. So for you to still disassociate yourself, it's almost like you actually don't even care about your daughter even, because she's part of this group.
Does he have, like, if he wants to say, hey, this is my opinion, like, I get it, but I don't need to be the role model here. Does he have that right?
Absolutely. Look, we live in a country where you're allowed to say anything you want, basically, through the First Amendment, free speech. What happened here is he's looking at this. Black Lives Matter is much bigger than he is. And because of that, he has to have that altruistic sort of sentiment that, okay, even though that it might not personally affect them, because what we understand is that hip-hop music is consumed more by white Americans than black Americans. If that doesn't even make sense, but that is a fact. And so when we kind of look at that stuff, basketball players, athletes, musicians, actors, they're not affected by the realities of the common person. And I think Black Lives Matter wasn't made for celebrities. You know, it was made for the people that are actually suffering out there socially, and these social injustices and the criminal justice, like the movie 13th from Ava DuVernay. That's where Black Lives Matter. The fact that he's not in touch with that, that's a problem, because he needs to get out then. He needs to talk to his audience. Whatever his lyrics are, he needs to connect with those lyrics once again, because in his lyrics, he does talk about the social injustices. So that discrepancy, that dichotomy between those two things,
concerning.
That's concerning.
I agree. I agree with both of you on this one.
Yeah.
And I agree that you guys are both great guests today. Thanks so much
Arthur.
for joining me, everybody, like I said. By the way, it's the first time you guys have met before, right?
Yes, we just met right now.
In the hallway.
Isn't she a doll?
She's wonderful.
He's awesome too.
So make sure to check out Sadé's variety stuff. She's always writing, meeting a lot of celebrities. I am in Jack's podcast and showbizcafe.com. Thanks for joining. And I'll be on there Tuesday. All right, guys. Next up, Katie Holmes has built an incredible career in Hollywood as an actress. So why not get behind the lens and pen her first film? She has done that. And it's coming out. It is called All We Had. It is a mother-daughter story. They are going through poverty. They are on a road trip. And she does a brilliant job behind the camera and in front of it. I caught up with her at the premiere, as well as Marc Consuelos and her friend Zach Posen, who told me all about it.
Your directorial debut, it's got to be hard enough being an actor, but being in front and behind the lens. Talk to me about the process and the challenges that go along with that.
It was really wonderful and very fulfilling, and I learned so much, and I felt really fortunate because I had a wonderful team around me. I had a wonderful DP and production designer, and I had a wonderful cast, and Stefania Owen is absolutely incredible.
This book, incredible story. When did you realize this was a story that you wanted to get behind the lens and tell?
Immediately. I finished it, and I called my agency, and I didn't really think that much about it. I was like, done, let's do it.
I watched her do it, and my mind was blown that she would do this really, really heavy scene, go back and look at it, and be like, hey, do you want to do another take? I'm like, no, I'm like, what do you think? You know, and she's like, I think it's good. I'm like, well, let's go. We're done. Let's keep going. You know, so I can't imagine. I couldn't do it.
Talk to me about Katie, not only as a friend, but as an artist.
Yeah.
What makes her so good as a creative?
I think what makes her so great as a creative is she continuously challenges herself and is open to learning. And that's what any creative person needs to push themselves forward and create new work. It's a very brave thing for somebody who's had a whole career at still such a young age as an actress to jump behind the lens and direct and self-direct. That's an art in itself.
It is. How did Katie Holmes become your muse? How did this friendship become what
We
it's
met
become?
over French fries.
That's
Really?
the best answer.
I sat next to, I sat next to a girl with beautiful hair down. It was at a friend's birthday, and I turned, and then she invited me that weekend to take a pasta making course at Italy. And that's how we became friends.
I don't think there's two people that I would want to be better friends with than Zach Posen and Katie Holmes and have French fries with them. Those two are awesome. Make sure to check out Katie's film when it comes out next month. It's called All We Had. And, congratulations, Katie. Great job first time behind the lens. You absolutely killed it. Two more ladies that I want to be great friends with. I think we may be friends at this point, actually, are Catherine and Sophie. They are the owners of Georgetown Cupcake. If you've never been to Georgetown Cupcake, it is the most popular cupcake destination in America. I mean, in New York, there's lines usually around the block. They also had a hit show called TLC's DC Cupcakes, which millions of people watched every single week. They have built an empire, and they joined me in studio to tell me all about their favorite celebrity moments. You've got to have so many famous people interactions that happen because of this. Like, what have been, and you don't even have to name the people, but give me some of the cool interactions that have happened with the stores.
Oh God, we've had everyone. We've had like Jennifer Garner, Reese Witherspoon come into our LA store. Usher came into our Atlanta store.
Do they want to meet you
LeBron
guys?
No, they just want the cupcakes. They
Yeah.
just want the cupcakes.
And the coolest experience probably was having Sasha Obama's 10th birthday party at the bakery with her. We got to bake with her, Malia, and their friends, and like everyone baked their own flavor. And for us, like that was pretty special. It was a pretty cool experience, and I think probably for us that was the highlight of our
Absolutely.
time so
How
far.
crazy is that? Like, is there Secret Service?
Yes.
Do they have to
Yes.
screen
The
you?
week before, the Secret Service came to scope out the bakery, and then they came the day before, and then they came while we were preparing, and then they stayed even when they left. Till they got back to the White House.
It was actually funny because people were knocking on the door trying to pick up their pre-orders, and they'd be like, they got an order to pick up. And like they were having Secret Service direct them and stuff. So it was a fun day.
Is there one cupcake that you're most proud of?
Oh, well, I am most proud of one that never actually got sold in the bakery because Sophie said no, but it was a deep-fried red velvet cupcake.
You with the nose.
You can tell the story.
Well, it's a deep-fried red velvet cupcake, and it looks terrible because it's deep-fried, but it tastes amazing.
Yeah,
It tastes
I mean,
amazing.
deep frying anything is pretty much amazing. So she basically threw a cupcake and some batter and in a deep fryer and put some powdered sugar on it. And yes, I admit it tasted amazing, but we just couldn't sell it. Maybe one day we will, but in some kind of cone or something. But
At a fair.
Yeah, it just
County
looked like
fair.
a big pile of fried dough with a cupcake in the middle. But it was good. I'll give you that.
Absolute best. And quick confession, Sophie and Catherine bought 2 boxes of Georgetown cupcakes to us. Needless to say, they were devoured extremely quickly, but mwah, thank you guys. You are welcome back anytime with your 2 boxes of cupcakes. Our next in-studio guests are 2 young stars, I'm going to say, because I'm huge fans of them. I've got Kadan and Brooklyn Rockett. You probably know them from America's Got Talent. They were semi-finalists this season. Magicians. I mean, how the heck are you magicians at this age? Like, I couldn't spell my name at your age, and you're magicians? How?
I kind of had a little bit of help from my dad. He's been a magician, so he kind of has been teaching me along with him.
Rule number 1 in show business, don't give anybody else credit, ever. Just say, it's all me. Right? Like, it's all me.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He knows.
You don't get this chair if you don't, trust me. I love your laugh. You're going to teach me magic today, I hear.
Actually, yes, I'm going to be teaching you a trick. It's actually like right down here.
I hate that he's more talented than I am. I hate it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, but this is actually, I'm going to teach you guys a trick.
Okay.
What it is, you start off, step number 1, by tearing up the napkin into a bunch of little pieces. Step number 2, take those pieces, wad them right up here in your hand. Step number 3, cram them right here inside your hand. And step number 4, reach into your pocket with your empty hand and just pull out a little bit of magic dust. Sprinkle it right over your hand. and it'll appear they have actually taken those pieces, put them right back together into one solid piece. Right over here, there it is, right there. Put them back together into one solid piece.
No way.
And to learn how to do this trick, you need to learn the secret. The secret to it is that there's actually 2 paper napkins. This is the other one right here. So you can have these torn up pieces.
Oh, of course you give me the torn up one.
Yeah, but to start out this trick, what you're going to want to do, take this piece of paper, wad it right up here in your hand, put your thumb right over it. This is called palming. Don't wave at your friends, it will reveal it. Don't stare at it awkwardly, it will reveal it. And hold your hand in a normal position, not like this. Hold it like a normal position. Step number 1, you're going to want to take these pieces, and you're going to want to take the first napkin and start by tearing it into a bunch of little pieces.
So wait, you already have that in your first hand as you're tearing this up?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Step number 2, wad those little pieces right there into your hand. Cram them into your hand. Step number 3, take your empty hand, place it right here into the pocket, and this is called misdirection. As you pull out a little bit of magic dust, sprinkle it over your hand, and it appears that you have actually put these pieces right back together to one solid piece. Now, you might be asking, what happens if your friends reveal it for you? Then what has to happen is you go to plan B.
There's a plan B?
Yes, there is. This is plan B. Blow on them, pull it right back together into one solid piece. And that's the magic.
I love it. How long did it, like, if you have to learn a trick like that, how long does it take you to actually learn it, perfect it, and get the act down?
It depends what trick it is. Something.
It's on top of your, no, I'm just kidding.
It depends on what trick you're doing. Like this trick, it didn't take me very long to do it.
Maybe like 20 minutes, an hour?
Yeah, about that long.
That quickly?
Yeah, and then there's other tricks that would take forever to get down because there's so much stuff you have to remember, so much dialogue, so much everything. So there's other tricks that take a while.
So tell me, guys, how's America's Got Talent change your life? I mean, you got national exposure to millions of people. How did it change your life?
It did a lot to our lives. The biggest thing is probably our social media that changed.
Oh, you're learning the art of the plug. Just so you guys know, I was told ahead of time, they're like, make sure you ask for social media. That was perfect. That's you're TV ready, dude.
Thank you.
So tell me about your social media.
Social media? Do you want our social media? Because
Yes.
we just got new cards. And they are awesome.
All right, so to see Kadan in Brooklyn, I love these two. It's Twitter at Kadan Rockett, at Brooklyn Rockett, Instagram at Kadan Bart Rockett. Bart's your middle name?
Yes, it is.
And at Brooklyn Rockett, Facebook at Kadan Bart Rockett, and at Brooklyn Nicole Rockett. And YouTube, it's Bart Rockett TV. See, I almost did it without screwing up. So tell me about your role in this operation. He's the magic man.
My role in this operation is the assistant of his. So he says that I'm not a big part, but deep inside he knows that I'm like the biggest part of all, and he's just like the little assistant. So there you go.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite judge on America's Got Talent? Who'd you guys love?
I love them all, but all for different reasons, obviously. Now, for Howie, I was Howie on season 6, so I've kind of had a little something with him. Then Heidi Klum, I've done her Seriously Funny Kids show. Simon actually surprised us the most because he was actually one of the nicest. And Mel B, we'd never met before, so that's kind of like a new connection.
And she's from the Spice Girls.
How do you know that? That's before your time.
Well, you just learn about this stuff. I mean, you go on America's Got Talent and you just are looking through stuff and you find stuff online and you look up YouTube videos of they performed at the Olympics once, and so you just know all this stuff for some reason.
My final question to you guys, if you had won, what were you going to do to celebrate?
Well, first we were going to go out and buy some red velvet cake to go, yay! Second, we were going to split the money 50-50. My sister probably begs to differ.
After you called her a small part of the show, if I were you, I would take 75-25 after that. Always
I said 70-30, but 75-25 is better.
I'm a manager now, bud. Good luck.
Oh no.
Guys, you're awesome. Congratulations on your success on America's Got Talent. And just remember, when you are headlining an enormous show somewhere in Las Vegas or wherever, I get free tickets. Agreed?
Okay, we'll be back in New York. Actually, we're going to Rochester, New York. I forget when. Oh my gosh. But we're gonna be playing. Do you want to say?
We're going to be playing Rochester, New York for a couple of weeks.
For like 3 weeks. And we're going to be playing Freehold, New Jersey. I play America December 3rd. So that will be super fun. So we'll have a lot of trips to New York.
Catch them while they're on the road. These kids are absolutely amazing. I loved you both on America's Got Talent. And
Thank you.
just keep killing it. Remember, free tickets. I'm going to hold you to that. And if you forget who I am, I'm sending you a video of this.
Okay.
Awesome. I love those kids. They were amazing on America's Got Talent. Make sure to check out all their socials. As I already said them, they are incredibly talented young people. Next up, Bravo has an incredibly popular show. It's called Below Deck. It's just, people love it. I was talking about it with my friends this weekend, and they're like, oh my God, you're gonna have to have Captain Lee. And guess what? Captain Lee was in my studio this week. And we talked just all about like what he does, but he told me about some of the hard parts of his job, and it's dealing with some tough people. Here's what he said.
Okay, so the whole mega yacht thing, right? I'm fascinated. I've been on a couple of these mega yachts over the course of my lifetime. Walk me through the type of people that you have to deal with. Like, what are some of the struggles that you have to deal with captaining some of these ships?
One of the largest struggles that you deal with is you're dealing with billionaires. And if you've never dealt with a billionaire before,
They want what they want.
They're not used to being told no at all, because they have the money to make it happen. You know, I want this, I want it here, I want it here now, get it done. And I don't care what it costs. Well, when you can just like fire up the G5 and go get whatever it is they need from any part of the world and have it to them in 14 hours, you know. But then you get to the safety side of things and what's good for their boat and what's good for, you know, them personally, because it's kind of like a marriage. You know, when you work with these people, you have to understand their personality and they have to understand yours, and you have to get along, because there are times where you're just going to say, you know, they want the boat in Saint-Tropez, or they want the boat in St. Thomas, or they want the boat in St. Bart's, and we just can't do it. Weather is prohibited, there's a storm out there, and no.
Everyone loves that show. Make sure to check out Below Deck every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Bravo. And you got to see the rest of my interview with Captain Lee. And we talk all about what it's like to captain these super yachts. It's really cool stuff. And make sure to catch a show every single week on Bravo. Another show that just premiered last night on IFC, who does some of the best comedies on television. It's called Stand Against Evil. It stars TV vet John C. McGinley, Janet Varney, who's absolutely hilarious. They are working together to fight demons. It is absolutely hilarious, and it's already building an enormous fan following. I caught up with them at New York Comic Con, and they told me about what to expect.
Tell me about Stan.
Stan is a comedy hidden in a horror film. And the protagonist, me, Stan, is kind of Archie Bunker without the social graces. And so he's a guy who's the least equipped, well-equipped person in the history of cinema or TV to be able to battle witches. But he just wants to go back to his Barcalandra chair. So if this is what it's going to take, this is what we'll do. But I'm going back to my recliner.
You've always been the master of creating comedy without trying to be funny. It's great. Is that what we're going to get with Stan? Kind of like that Scrubsy feel to it?
100%. I think when the show is really cooking, it hopes to mimic the tone of An American Werewolf in London. So in other words, when the monsters are scary, they're scary as hell, and when it's funny, we're on top of it.
Everybody's getting some comedy, they're getting some horror, they're getting some amazing writing. I will speak for the rest of the cast when I say they're amazing. I won't toot my own horn, but John C. McGinley, Deborah Baker Jr., Nate Mooney, doing some extraordinary work, because we are talking about some pretty wackadoo characters that are living in a world that is very real to them, And so it's not shticky. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, like nudge, nudge. It's like, oh, okay, you're kind of crazy, but you're very sincere and your heart's coming from the right place. So my character coming into this world, which is this cursed small town, right, that seems almost stuck in the early 70s, but it's present day, is, you know, haunted by demons. And I wasn't expecting that when I moved in. I took over Johnny C's job. His character, Stan, steps down from being the sheriff after decades. His wife has just died. I come in thinking like, hey, I just found a great little place to get away, recently divorced, raising this young daughter, and what meets me instead is just a preponderance of goo exploding in my face, thanks to multiple demons.
So if you want comedy and sci-fi in a great mix, every Wednesday, 10 o'clock on IFC, Stan Against Evil. Premiered last night, great show, check it out. We're staying in the comedy realm with one of the greats to ever do it and one of my personal favorites of all time. Paul Reiser, what a career this guy has built. From film to television, he has one of the most iconic shows of the 90s under his belt with Mad About You. Was an enormous launching pad for him and Helen Hunt. He's back with another show called Red Oaks. It's entering season 2 on Amazon. He has some great memories, so I wanted to pick his brain on what his favorite memory from Mad About You was. Here's what he said.
You were on one of the biggest shows of the 90s. I'm dying to know some great Mad About You memories. Like, what were some of the 1 or 2 moments that you look back on and you're thinking to yourself, this was crazy. I can't believe this happened.
Well, there were a lot of great memories. But that particular thought, I can't believe this is happening. We had often, because we had our idols, we had our guest stars were people that we, you know, literally grew up on. Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner were my heroes, my comedy heroes. And then we had Carol Burnett and Carol O'Connor. And we had Jerry Lewis, for God's sake. And you know, and then non-comic, we had Yoko Ono. And we did a scene where we was a little, she was great and she was wonderful. And then we have this little tag that we would do after the show. You know, like when credits would run, and usually they were silly, and we would break the reality a little bit, and we didn't have anything in mind. We said, what do we do for the under credits thing? And Yoko suggested. She said, we were sitting there scratching our head. We had the live audience, and she said, kind of raised her hand modestly and went, you know, I have an idea. John and I always said, whenever we have a chance, let's just say give peace a chance. And we went, yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's do it. So we got into bed, and there was Helen Hunt, me, and Yoko in the middle, just in bed reading the paper. And then she went, give peace a chance. And there's a look, I think it's actually in the show, where I just looked at Helen and went, yeah, that happened. We're in a bed-in with Yoko saying give peace a chance.
How many people in their lifetime can say, I was in bed with Yoko Ono? Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt can. They win the all-time best story lottery with that one. Make sure to check out Red Oaks on Amazon. Premieres November 11th. Great, great show. Takes place during my childhood, during the 80s. Great show. Check it out. Well, that's it, guys. What an episode. An enormous thank you to our in-studio guests today, Lynn Cohen, Brooklyn and Kadan. Unbelievable with their magic. Sadé and Jack. We had such a great time with all of you guys. An enormous thank you to all of our guests on the red carpet and on location. Make sure to catch us next week. Check out our website, BehindTheVelvetRope.TV. We're on Apple TV, Roku, iOS. Just find us. You got to watch Behind the Velvet Rope, and we'll see you next Thursday with another great show. See you guys then.